guys, if you're new here, my name's Charlie and I'm a first-time mum to a little girl called Hallie, and she is almost 12 weeks old. But I was just sat on the sofa, as she will not literally let me go, and I was thinking about a video that I could do to help new mums, because I remember watching so many YouTube videos of like what I actually need, because I don't have any babies in my family. I had no idea about baby stuff. I didn't know what I actually need, what I'm gonna use, and I was just completely clueless. I looked through so many YouTube videos and I found a lot that told you what you need but didn't tell you why you needed them. So I didn't buy them because I was like, I don't understand why I would need that. I didn't even understand how to change a nappy or how to feed her, like formula. I didn't understand how that worked, anything like that. So I thought in this video, I will break down some things that I didn't buy when I was pregnant but bought when I had her, because I realized I needed them and I didn't realize why I would have needed them, but now I know, so I can tell you. So the things that have really helped a lot and actually been really useful, and things that I would really recommend getting, that if I knew from the beginning, my journey would have been way easier. So hopefully this video will help you if you're a first-time mum, or if you're even someone who knows a first-time mum that you think this might help. So let's start off with something that I use every single day, which is a Nuby Rapid Cool, which is a white flask, and you put milk into it and it cools the milk down literally in seconds. And I didn't understand why I needed this, so I'm going to explain. You can buy it on Amazon. Now the flask alone is £22. If you want to get the flask set, it's £40. That's what I bought, the £40 one. So when you make your baby's milk, it's always with boiling water, because the boiling water needs to sterilize the powder. In order to cool that down enough for her to drink it, you're waiting ages. At first I was putting the bottle in a bowl of cold water, and you would just basically need to wait for the milk to cool down. But when you've got a screaming baby waiting to be fed, you just don't have the time. So I do a hot shot method, which you get the white flask, you pour boiling water into the bottle, however many mils that they have. So at the moment she has 210 mil. So I'll pour 210 mil of boiling water into a bottle, pour almost all of it into the Nuby Rapid Cool. You close it up, you press the top, which then turns the writing on the top orange. That means it's too hot for the baby to drink. Now, while you've got a little bit of boiling water left in your bottle, probably about 1 ounce will be fine, put as many scoops as you need into the bottle with the boiling water, so that boiling water is still sterilising the powder. Just so you know, every 30 mil is 1 scoop, and make sure you level out the scoop as well. Usually on a tub of formula, there's a little bit on it where you can level it out. So I would recommend keep checking the Rapid Cool flask, and when you press the button on the top and it's green, that means the milk is at a safe temperature for baby to drink. So you can pour that back into the bottle, swirl it around. Don't shake it because it makes too many air bubbles and it'll make them gassy. Just swirl it around, put the lid on, and you can feed them. And it makes the process 10 times quicker. I'm not joking, I don't really usually have to wait more than 30 seconds. Once I've put the powder in the bottle, the milk is ready. Now the reason I got the 2-pack was because the grey flask is just a normal flask. So if you're going out, you can fill up the flask of boiling water and it will last all day, so you can make up a formula when you're out and about. Another thing I used to do when she was a little bit younger was bring it up to bed with me as well, so I can make a bottle in the middle of the night so I wouldn't have to go downstairs. It makes the process so much easier, and I'd never even had this when I was pregnant, but I wish I did because it's so handy. And £40 may seem like a lot, but it's genuinely worth the money because I use it multiple times every single day. Every time I feed her, I use it. So I would recommend that. The next thing is a disposable changing mat. So I bought 2 of these, which is the perfect amount for me. I have 1 in the living room and 1 in the car. So when I'm changing her in the day, when I'm downstairs, I'm not taking her up into her bedroom where a changing mat is. I've just got a changing mat on the floor there. So the one I got, again, from most of this is probably from Amazon. I should really get an Amazon storefront so I can get some commission on this stuff. But it has a little Velcro bit, so you can do it one-handed. So you can undo the Velcro while you're holding her, shake it out, it will go out into a full mat, and you can put her on that. I got 2 because 1 is in the car when I'm out and about having to change her. Although in baby changing rooms there's usually like a mat or something, I don't like to use it. I like to use my own because I know it's clean and she's the only one that's used it. So that is also something that I would recommend. My friend actually told me about that once I had her. I was like, where do I change her? I didn't really understand. I was like, do I have to take her to her room every time? But wait, she is hanging on for dear life. Ow. That is what I would recommend. And for the bedroom, we actually just have like one of those kind of like puppy pads, because they soak up so much. So if she does end up weeing when you're changing her, it just soaks it up. We also had one on her cot for a little while when she was sleeping, because sometimes she would wet through, and it then at least wouldn't ruin the mattress, and it would have like a protection layer on it. A room thermometer. We've got like this egg one, and it changes colour. We've got it in our bedroom because that's where she sleeps with us, but it's just easy to see. So when it's too cold, it'll be blue, and if it's too hot, it'll be red. But it's also got the temperature on it, so you can just keep an eye on it, and if the room's a little bit too hot for her, you can open some windows and make sure it's cooler for when she goes to sleep. Or you can change what she's wearing, so if it's too hot, if it's in the reds, I just put her in a little vest like this, whereas if it's blue, then I'll put her in more of a sleep suit, so she's a bit warmer. Plus it does double up as a bit of a night light as well, so if all your lights are off at night and she wakes up, you can still see where you're going, because it's light enough to kind of use as a little bit of a night light. Okay, swaddles is a massive one. When I was in the hospital, because I was in the hospital for about a week after I gave birth, because I had some issues, I kept hearing midwives saying, do not swaddle your baby when you're home, even though they tell you to swaddle them when you're in the hospital, which never made sense to me, and I didn't really understand. They just said it was dangerous, but I don't really see the danger of it too much. We didn't swaddle her for a little while because we really listened to everything that the midwives were saying. We took it on board. We wanted, obviously, her to be as safe as possible. But we were going through a phase where we were up all night, every night, from about 10 p.m. till 6 a.m. She would not sleep. We tried everything and nothing would work, and I just was desperate for sleep. I didn't mind, like, I was waking up 2-3 times in the night, no problem, feeding her, changing her. But when it got to her not sleeping all night, we had to change something up. We were trying the sleeping bags, we were trying a darker room, we were trying white noise, so many different things, and in the end we bought some swaddles online. Just some cheap ones off Amazon. They're just ones that swaddle her arms. So it's like a sleeping bag on the bottom, and then you just Velcro the top up. So it's not like a full-on wrap, but she has slept through the night since. She goes to sleep about 11, 12 at night, and she doesn't wake up till about 6 most mornings. So honestly, game changer. I suppose you don't need to buy it straight away, but if you are struggling with sleep or anything like that, I would recommend. It was a 3-pack as well, so when some are in the wash, you've still got another one, so you've always got them. Another one is nappy caddies. So I did put one on my baby Amazon wish list, which I have like linked in my bio, and one of my lovely customers bought me one, and it has been a game changer. And since having her, I actually bought another one, because we've got one in the living room by her disposable changing mat. So we've got that filled with nappies, wipes, and like a little hairbrush, thermometer, some Sudocrem and stuff like that in there. We also have a few bibs and muslins in there as well. I recommend that because everything's in one place. It's nice and neat, not everything's everywhere. We also have some nappy sacks and stuff in there, so it's just organised, neat and tidy. So we bought one so that it's in the boot of the car with the same sort of stuff in it, nappy bags, nappies, wipes, so that when we're out, and also milk as well, so when we're out and about, it's just easy. And we actually just put the caddy, it fits perfectly under the pram. Instead of filling a bag up and bringing a bag everywhere with me, I just have the nappy caddy under the pram, and then I don't need to carry anything else basically. I used in a bag at first, but everything was everywhere. It was getting stressful when you're out and about, you need to grab something. So it's just a more organised way of carrying everything around with you basically. Okay, one that we got recently was gripe water. I never heard of it before, but if they suffer with reflux or they struggle to get burps up, or if they get hiccups all the time, you give them 5 ml of gripe water after 1 month. So you can't give it to them before 1 month, and the hiccups instantly go. They get out a huge burp sometimes, or they just let out all their wind. So if they've got a bit of an upset tummy or anything like that, it's definitely worth getting that on hand just in case, because it definitely does help. A lot of people used to tell me to just get loads of muslins, you'll never need enough muslins, but I didn't understand why I would need them. The main reasons I use them, sometimes I use them over a bib because bibs just leak through. Also, I like the bigger muslins because they go right around, you can carry them around with you. They puke all the time, babies, so if you've got one nearby, you can just mop it up. She's in a phase at the moment of dribbling. She dribbles 24/7, so having a muslin around at all times is good because you can just mop up that dribble all the time. That's a bit fake, isn't it? I also use muslins in the bath as well, so when she's having a bath, the bigger ones I wet fully and put all over her so that she's not getting too cold, and then I keep squeezing warm water on top of it just to keep her warm in there. And then I use a smaller muslin as well in the bath just to clean off her face and stuff, because sometimes sponges are a little bit too rough. Even when they are like baby ones, they're still like a little bit rough for her face, I think. So a muslin is just nice and soft and you can just wipe her face properly then. That's another thing, cotton balls. I never understood why the women need cotton balls. When you're changing their nappy and they've maybe got a bit of nappy rash or something, warm water on a cotton ball is much softer and gentler than wipes. So sometimes if it's a little more fragile down there, then using that is definitely more helpful. Same with her blocked tear duct. I would have to use a few cotton balls a day, just cleaning off the eye and stuff, making sure it's nice and clean. I use them just to clean her face sometimes, just to give her face a little wipe down if she hasn't had a bath that day, keeping her nice and fresh. Sudocrem, I think that one might be a little bit more obvious, but when they get nappy rash, Sudocrem is really good. You want to lather it on. I didn't realise this, but I was just putting like a light coverage on, rubbing it in kind of like sun cream or something, but apparently you got to put it on thick. So just keep it on thick and put the nappy straight on and it'll be fine. And you just do that a few times, every time you change them, just keep putting it on and lathering it on, and it'll go pretty quickly, usually within a couple of days. But if it's more of a spotty rash and it gets worse and worse, it might be thrush. So she hasn't had that, but my health visitor told me that the other day, so just some more information for you if you needed it. Lots of blankets as well. No one really told me this actually, but I had probably about 3 blankets for her, but that wasn't really enough because we have one that we keep in the car for when she's in her car seat, and then one in her next to me crib upstairs in bed. Then she's got a Moses basket downstairs, so she has one in there. But once they're dirty, they're in the wash and then there's no replacements. So we're lucky that Sam's auntie actually knitted her a couple of blankets, so she got some really nice, decent, thick blankets. But sometimes you need to double up as well if it's a bit colder. I would definitely invest in just a few more blankets, get a bit more prepared with that. Before I gave birth, I didn't think it was safe to have blankets with them in bed, but actually it seems to be the safest way at the moment. So you put them at the very end of the bed, so their feet are touching the end, and then put a blanket under their arms like this and tuck it into all the sides so that they're like basically pinned down. So there's no way that blanket's going to go over them and suffocate them. It can only go down and they'll probably just kick it off. But that's much safer than it being over their arms, any way basically that it can go over them. You don't want them to suffocate, but otherwise that was how we had her until we started swaddling her. Now she just has a swaddle and no blanket. But before the swaddle, she just had a blanket. We got a bouncer. Sam's granddad actually bought it for us. Unfortunately, he has passed away recently, but he bought it for us just before he passed away, and it is so helpful. It was on Amazon again, but it's an electric one, so it always needs plugging in, but it swings her, it plays music, you can connect your phone. We haven't done any of that. We just use it for just swinging it basically. But I never understood why I would need a bouncer. If you want to get anything done, there is nowhere to put them. They can't sit up on their own yet. If your baby is anything like mine, she does not like to be in her cot. She just likes to be attached to me. So sometimes putting her in a bouncer just occupies her for a little bit longer. And she's just getting to the stage now where she is grabbing things a bit more. So she's grabbing the dangly things on it. And you can get bouncers that aren't electric, which are much cheaper, like 20 odd pound. I've got one in here actually. I just keep it in this room so that she sits in that and it vibrates and it plays music again. But I also have tied a book to it so that she can just keep herself occupied for a little bit longer. So instead of it keeping her entertained for 10 minutes, it might keep her entertained for 20 instead, which lets me get a little bit of work done sometimes. I think that's pretty much it. To be honest, if you want more content like this or more tips or anything from a first time mummy who literally had no idea what she's doing, then please let me know. If you've got any questions, I'm more than happy to do another video on it if it's useful for people, because I was desperate for a video like this when I was pregnant. So I thought I really need to get around to doing it myself, because there are just some things that you just don't know if you need or not. And if you've got any questions, like things that you've been told that you may need, or anything like that, let me know in the comments and I'll try and help as much as possible. Or maybe again, I'll do another video just fully on that. Some other things that I will mention that people told me to do, which I would not recommend doing, People say stock up on nappies. Don't stock up on nappies, because she was a size 0 for about a week, and then she was size 1 for about 4 weeks, and then she's already in size 2. I stocked up loads on nappies, and then I've literally got boxes left. So I've ended up just giving them to the hospital, like in the maternity ward, so people can get them for free, like donating them there. But if you stock up, you might just be left with a lot of spare ones, and they're so cheap. They're literally like £1 a pack, so there's no need to really stock up. It's not like it's going to be a massive expense when you need to get more. They are pretty cheap, and they do last a little bit of time, to be honest, more than I thought. You could stock up on wipes, however, you don't know what wipes are going to be good. Honestly, every single wipe is different. I think the best one for us is either Huggies or the Mamia ones. They're probably best. Some of them are too wet, where they're literally like soaking. Some of them are too dry, where you can't wipe properly. Some of them honestly come out in a string of 500. Some of them are freezing cold. Like, there's so many problems with wipes. I couldn't believe it when I started using them. But we stocked up, but we stocked up on a lot of different ones. So we just got loads of different ones. But for nappies, our best ones are actually Huggies, but they're too expensive. So the best ones I would recommend are Mamia from Aldi, I think it is, or Asda actually are quite good. They're like themed as well, so the ones we've got at the minute are Lion King. They are really good, and she doesn't seem to wet through them, so I would recommend those nappies if you can grab them. Ones from supermarkets honestly seem to be better than any other ones. And I will just note as well, as for a sterilizer, because this is something I really struggled with, I will put a picture on the screen of the exact one that I've got. It's the Tommee Tippee one, and it's just a sterilizer. It fits 6 bottles perfectly. The Tommee Tippee bottles as well have been great, because they're not too many parts. It's 3 parts: the lid, the top bit, and the bottle. You just clean it out with a bottle cleaner. You throw it on the sterilizer, and it takes about 10 minutes to do. I put the dummies in there as well. But yeah, I think that's everything. I'm trying to make this video as useful as possible with things that I didn't know about, because the main thing for me was sterilizing bottles, making up bottles, things like that. I just didn't get it. But I did breastfeed for 2 weeks at the beginning, and pumped as well. So if you want more information just on that, I can do a whole thing on that, because that was a whole learning curve. I hated every minute of it. But if you are wanting to breastfeed, I literally bought everything imaginable and tried out loads of different things. Same with pumping. So if you do want some information on that or on anything else, let me know in the comments down below. I'm gonna take her downstairs because she's already getting agitated. Thank you so much for watching. Look at these toes. Thank you so much for watching. Please like the video if it has been useful. Hype it up, and make sure you subscribe, because I'm gonna be doing some day in the lives with the newborn and things like that, to switch up the content a little bit. So if you want to see anything like that, then please do subscribe, and I shall see you in the next one, hopefully. Bye.